Hey everyone, it's Lady, and today I'm going to be doing my mid-year wrap-up video. I've only read 8 books so far this year, so it felt a little silly to do like a April-May reading wrap-up. I had just recently gotten back into reading, so my reading pace is like slowly increasing, and I'm kind of like figuring out what genres I like, what kind of books I like, the kind of stories I like to read, and I feel like I've really got a hold on it as of recently. So the first book I read was The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides. It is basically about this psychotherapist named Theo who finds out that Alice, this woman who was brought into this rehab facility or psych facility for killing her husband, and since then she isn't talking to anybody. But then it also follows Theo's relationship with his wife and how he thinks that she's cheating on him, and he kind of goes through each of her family members and her friends and her neighbors and interviews each one of them. And instead of finding out who Alice is as a character by him interviewing her, you get to find out who she is by all of these people that Theo interviews. I overly rated it a 3 out of 5 stars. The ending or conclusion was kind of, I just didn't like the book. Then I read Taurus Season by Brynne Weaver. It basically follows Harper and Nolan. Harper is a camp counselor who's been taking care of Arthur, and he is a murderer who has been murdering innocent people. But then Nolan ends up coming to this town to seek revenge on the fact that Harper was seen when him and his brother got into a car accident, and Harper just left the scene, didn't even bother to check to see if Nolan and his brother were okay. Nolan's brother ended up dying, so he comes to Cape Carnage to kind of like seek out this revenge on her. And it is a bit of an enemies to lovers. I would disagree. I think it is an insta-love because they are lusting after each other after the first 2 chapters, and that's just like not me as a person. Like, I was so disappointed. I really thought that I would like the story. I loved Butcher and Blackbird, and I have kind of written off Brynne Weaver as an author. I tried Leather and Lark, didn't like it. Tried Taurus Season, didn't like it. I didn't really like the writing style either. Overall, Taurus Season got a 2 out of 5 stars from me. Then the next book I read was Phantasma by Kaylee Smith, and wow, that was my first 5-star of the entire year. That's when I got back into watching booktubers, and Just Allie, I saw she recommended it and she really loved it, and I think she had also loved Butcher and Blackbird, so I was like, okay, we might have the same taste in books and what we consider to be really good books. But it follows Ophelia and her sister. They find out that she's going to lose their estate after their mom had passed, so they entered this game called Phantasma, and basically it is a series of trials that take place after the 7 gates of hell, and it follows her and Blackwell and how he helps her to try to escape, because she's not only trying to get her estate back and her house back, but she also believes that her sister Genevieve has joined these games as well, and only one person can make it out alive. So that was a 5 out of 5 star read for me. If you're someone who really likes high stakes, a little bit of romance, and kind of like darker themes, I would totally recommend Phantasma. It was a 10 out of 10, 5 out of 5 for me. Then the next book I read was The 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle. This is a mystery book. This follows Sebastian Bell and how he needs to figure out who killed Evelyn Hardcastle. He wakes up in the middle of the forest and he is crying out for this woman he doesn't even know, but he knows her name. He doesn't know what's going on, but he meets the plague doctor who tells him the only way you're going to escape is if you tell me who killed Evelyn Hardcastle. I actually almost DNF'd this several times. I don't think it's bad. I think if you're super into mysteries, you love Agatha Christie, like, you would love this book. It was too complex for my lack of interest in it. Like, I already was having a hard time understanding it, and then I already wasn't that interested in it, so it just made it even harder. And I think if I had understood 100% of the time what was going on, I might have liked this a little bit. So I do want to rate it a 3-star because I don't think that it's a bad book. I just think that it wasn't my genre and it wasn't my type of story. Then I read How to Survive in the Woods by Kat Rosenfeld, and that follows a woman named Emma who is basically in this domestic violence relationship, and she's kind of down on life. It starts with her trying to end her life in a psych ward, and she ends up marrying this guy named Logan, and they get into a really, really bad marriage, and she wants to leave this marriage, but she feels like she's too weak. So her and her friend Taylor go to the Appalachian Trail and basically come up with this plan to kill Logan. I rated it 4.5 stars. I read the advanced reader copy. I thought the ending was satisfying. There weren't a lot of characters and there weren't a lot of moving parts, but I thought that the pacing was good and that it still kept you on your toes. You didn't always know what was happening, and everything that was revealed wasn't super predictable. It still felt new and fresh, and I really liked it, so 4.5 stars. And then I read Flowers for Algernon, and that follows Charlie, who was born with a low IQ, and he gets the opportunity to participate in this experiment where they basically make him smarter. And it follows his story and his life and how he goes from being this low IQ guy who kind of gets made fun of by the people in his life and gets taken advantage of, and then he experiences those same people in different situations and relationships from a more high IQ point of view, and kind of how he's been taken advantage of and mistreated by the people in his life. And it goes over his relationship with his parents and his mother, and how she kind of has always looked down on Charlie for not being as intelligent as his sister. I thought it was okay. It wasn't totally groundbreaking. It was a new age book, which I don't think is something that is super interesting to me. It's not like a topic or a genre that I really like, and it was for my book club, so that's why I finished it. But overall, I think I rated it a 2-star. The next book I read was The Ending Writes Itself by Evelyn Clark. These 6 authors are given this opportunity to come to this island and write the final book or final chapter, last couple pages of Arthur Fletch's trilogy, his series, because he had passed before he had finished the book. Whoever writes the best chapter gets like this huge publishing deal, and they get their next book published. Like, it's like an author's dream, but they only have 72 hours to do it. And it's basically like a murder mystery. It reminded me a bit of The Menu vibes, where a bunch of these people go to like an island and they can't escape until X amount of time. Like, it gave that vibe. I did not like the ending. I thought the ending was cheap. Honestly, if they had picked any of the other authors, I honestly would have believed that a little bit better. Some of the twists were kind of good. I didn't expect all of them. Honestly, I finished it in 3 days, so it definitely kept my attention. But overall, I think I rated it a 4-star or 3.5 or 4-star read. So not my favorite, but it was still good. And then the next book I read was Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. This was a 5 out of 5 star for me. I love this book. It basically follows Violet Sorrengail, who is the daughter of General Sorrengail, who basically forces her to become a writer in the Writer's Quadrant, and it follows her story because she wanted to originally be a scribe like her father. But it basically follows her and Xaden and how she kind of becomes this dragon rider, and how she's going to defend the War College, and how she becomes stronger, and all these people that she meets and stuff. I'm not doing it any justice. There's just so much going on. It's about dragons and fantasy and romance and her friendships and her relationships with these people, and there's betrayal and death and just so much going on in this book. It is high stakes. I loved it. I rated it 5 out of 5 stars. And then after I finished that, I read Witches of Dubious Origin by Jen McKinley. And this is part of a duology series, or a series in general. I didn't know that prior to reading this. This is a cozy fantasy novel, and it basically follows Zoe Ziakis, who is the daughter of a witch, and she's given this black grimoire on the death of her mother, and she has to figure it out how to open it. And she goes to this society, and they help her kind of like teach her how to become a necromancer and a witch, which is where she was originally born from. She was born from necromancers, and there's love in it, there's mystery in it, there is friendships in it, there's cute sassy characters in it. I didn't love it. I don't think I'm a cozy fantasy girly. There was just nothing really going on in this book for me to stay super interested. I found around 350 pages begging for this book to be over. And it was one of those situations where I was like, I have 100 pages left. There is no way I am DNFing this now. Like, I'm determined. I just cannot DNF a book. I don't know why. I just cannot do it. I'm probably not gonna read the next one. But anyway, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye!